Hi, I'm Lauren Westbrook, a Boys and Girls Club volunteer, and I'd like to welcome you to the Boys and Girls Club volunteer training video. You've reached this training video because you have successfully completed your volunteer application and background check. After watching this, you will be asked to read volunteer policies and complete the volunteer acknowledgement form on our website. Thank you for your interest in volunteering with us. In this video, we'll go over important topics to help you become a successful club volunteer. We're going to discuss with you what the club is about, expectations, policies, procedures, and your next steps in the volunteer application process. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Baton Rouge has a powerful mission to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. You, our volunteers, help us achieve this mission with your time and talent, contributing thousands of hours to help children in our community each year. As a volunteer, you serve as a role model for our club members, and it's important to remember that your responsibilities don't stop at volunteering. How you interact with club personnel and club members will impact our club members' trust, respect, and behavior. Our volunteers exercise gracious professionalism by working collaboratively, acting with integrity, and intentionally carrying out the mission of the Boys and Girls Club when working with staff and club members. We love what we do and the impact that we have at the club, serving more than 2,000 children in our community who need us most every single year. We empower all club members to graduate from high school with a plan for the future, demonstrate good character and citizenship, and live healthy lifestyles. Because of this, we have high expectations of our volunteers too. Volunteer expectations. Attend and acknowledge completion of the annual Boys and Girls Club volunteer training program. Adhere to all policies and procedures. Work under the supervision of the club personnel. Engage club members in successful and meaningful learning experiences. Possess a genuine interest in the overall academic and social experience for club members. Maintain the highest level of confidentiality with all club member information. Exercise knowledge of all club safety information. Seek club personnel for direction, guidance, and assistance. Collaborate to keep club members at the forefront of all interactions, engagement, and decision-making. In addition to all of these club expectations, I want to further delve into some best practices on professional conduct and communication with club kids, staff, and volunteers. Remember, you are a part of the club movement and a representative of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Baton Rouge at all times. We've come up with some guidelines for you to follow to help you achieve top-notch professionalism at the club. Now let's review. Professional conduct and communication. Never be alone with a club member in a closed room or other private setting. Maintain positive demeanor with club members at all times. Keep all club member information confidential, for example, behavior, demographics, academics, family, and discipline. Maintain appropriate physical boundaries with club members. Never touch students in any way that is aggressive, disciplinary, or sexual in nature. Understand that club members mimic adult behaviors. Exercise sound judgment at all times. Private communication, for example, phone calls, text messages, or any social media, should not be used with club members. Never place a club member in your car or drive a club member. Never meet the club members away from the club setting or club function. Maintain strict confidentiality concerning club members and staff information like grades, records, and abilities. Contact Boys and Girls Club personnel regarding any club member concerns. Engage in conversations that demonstrate respect for others. Avoid language that may be perceived as discriminatory, sexist, or offensive. While volunteering at the club, you interact with many children and teenagers. It is vitally important that you know the steps for reporting child abuse. Call 855-4LA-KIDS if you suspect an abuse or neglect situation with one of our club members. Report all suspected incidents of child abuse and or neglect to the club's site coordinator and or director of community engagement. A suspected incident report will be completed. Volunteers possess the right to report directly to the Department of Children and Family Services. Call 1-855-4LA-KIDS, toll free, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It is not the volunteer or club personnel's responsibility to investigate the incident. It is only your responsibility to report suspected incidents. You are halfway through this training video, and when you finish this, you will be almost halfway through the entire volunteer application, training, and orientation process. Here's a snapshot of our entire volunteer application process. You've already completed steps 1 and 2, and you're working on step 3 right now. Step 4, read the Boys and Girls Club volunteer policies. Step 5, confirm that you have watched the video and read the policies by signing our volunteer policy acknowledgement form. Step 6, Boys and Girls Club will contact you to schedule an orientation session. Step 7, attend an orientation and sign up for your volunteer shift. Step 8, start making a difference and volunteer. Boys and Girls Club volunteer policies can be found on our website, and you have also received a link to PDFs of all of these policies from our Director of Community Engagement. After you complete this video, all volunteers must read and acknowledge Volunteer Policies 101 to 401, covering topics on volunteerism, tobacco and drug-free workplaces, club member supervision and welfare, anti-harassment, and more. When you volunteer, you will follow the following procedures on your shift. Please note that as we innovate and add more digital-based volunteer opportunities, some of these processes may vary slightly. Please defer to your program coordinator, site coordinator, or the Director of Community Engagement on any processes that you have questions about or seem to change with your specific volunteer activity. Let's go through the volunteer procedures. Sign in and out on the Boys and Girls Club's volunteer login sheet. Volunteers must wear a badge at all times. Report to the assignment on time as scheduled. If the volunteer cannot make the scheduled day or time, notify the site coordinator as soon as possible. Any information regarding a student must remain confidential and is not to be shared with anyone, for example, academic, behavioral, or family information. Children are not permitted to accompany the volunteer unless permission is granted by the Director of Community Engagement. If permission is granted, it is always the responsibility of the volunteer to ensure the child maintains a quiet and non-disruptive behavior. Review and adhere to all fire and storm evacuation plans. This includes all drills. Discipline and crisis intervention are the responsibility of the club personnel. If need arises for involvement, seek staff immediately and follow staff instructions. If a child is injured, notify club personnel immediately and remain with the child until the club staff arrives. Do not treat the child yourself. Staff is trained to care for club members. When addressing club staff, use the titles Mr., Mrs., Ms. to model respect to the club members. Conduct yourself in a positive and professional manner at all times. The club's Director of Community Engagement must approve any communication that a volunteer would like to distribute, such as flyers, emails, social media, and telephone numbers. As a volunteer, you do make a difference. Always remember that club members and their welfare come first. Once you have reviewed all the procedures and policies outlined in this video and on our website, you must complete the Volunteer Policy Acknowledgement Form to continue in the process. Boys and Girls Club requires that all volunteers certify that they understand their responsibilities as a volunteer and also understand that their privileges can be revoked due to a violation outlined with the volunteer training program. This is important. Volunteers may only begin once the volunteer application, background check, acknowledgement forms, and orientations have been completed. Please contact the Director of Community Engagement for status updates if you have any questions. Thank you again for your interest in becoming a volunteer. I hope this training video has proved to be helpful to you as you start on this journey to make a difference in the lives of so many children in our community. Your time and commitment help all of us at the club in providing a world-class experience that ensures success is within reach for every young person who walks through our doors. Remember that great futures start here, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you. Special thanks to our friends at Cox Communications for supporting the club movement and sponsoring this training.